Welcome, everyone, to the Inclusion Podcast. I'm Dr. Julie Costin.
And I'm Dr. Christy Preddy-Franzak. We're so glad you're here as we explore all things inclusion.
So whether you're a school leader, an educator, a parent, or simply passionate about inclusion, this podcast is for you.
In each episode, we go beyond the usual conversations, diving into what truly makes inclusive education work.
Together, let's make a difference, one conversation at a time. Here we go. Welcome to the Inclusion Podcast. Today is episode 65, and I think this is one you're going to want to listen to on repeat, which is all about de-escalation. And what we have for you today are 20 de-escalation ideas that work.
Well, that's good as opposed to some that are mediocre. I always laugh because when Julie ever introduces herself and she says that she has cute kids, then she'll say in the chat, tell me if you have cute kids or mediocre kids, So when you said you kind of like emphasized that work, I was like, well, good.
We're going to do another podcast called De-escalation Strategies That Do Not Work.
Suck.
Yeah, that suck. But I don't think that one's going to get as much listener. I don't think people are going to listen to it on repeat.
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about escalation without talking about triggers, which is like probably another whole podcast, our disdain for triggers or the word triggers or searching for triggers. Because I think you and I use that word even informally, like, ooh, that triggered me, or my lid is flipped, or I tell you, like, I'm trying to get myself regulated because I can feel myself amping up. So let's talk a little bit about like what's happening when we escalate, or what are some behaviors we're even talking about?
Okay, so when we say the word escalate, when we're talking about de-escalation,
we're
bringing down the heat in a way. So you know that like when a student's emotions start to boil over, things are getting intense, things are becoming really hard to tolerate. That's what we're meaning by escalation. Things are on the rise. They're not getting more calm. They're getting more intense, more challenging, more something. And so what we're talking about is how do you turn the heat down? How do we bring down those challenging behaviors that are starting to boil over? And the secret to it all is at that time, they need to co-regulate or borrow our calm.
So let's do a little confession, Julie, and let's look at our list of behaviors that escalate, and let's share one that we're prone to.
We're as adults, or we're
you and me.
Oh.
As even in our co-teaching relationship. I'll go first. You don't have to.
Okay.
But like I can find myself, if I get escalated, making hurtful statements, probably never threats, because I did threaten to quit the other day.
Yeah.
But I can feel, you and I call her the ice queen, but I can feel myself being snarky or resistant or a little bit hurtful, like things that I know aren't helpful to the situation. Or I would say my other one is like, I get frustrated because I'm trying to be like perfect. So then it turns into like frustration.
Yeah.
Like those are what we mean. Like I'm not meaning always like it escalates to where I break a window or rip paper or hit anybody. But it's that big emotion that starts to make me maybe not show up as my best self. So how can I de-escalate that?
Yeah. It's any behavior that you can turn up the heat on it and it becomes counterproductive. So I'll use my example would be I shut down in such a way that makes it so I cannot perform, I cannot engage, I cannot any longer. And so it's like a little bit of shutting down is really common.
Sure.
When it escalates, I'm no good. Like I really cannot be involved in a discussion any longer. I really need to be laying down on my bed with my heavy blanket because I've got to re-regulate. I've got to get back to my prefrontal cortex. And so it can be a lot of different things, but when things are escalating, it means they're The volume is turning up. The heat is turning up. We're getting a little out of control.
Okay. So let's tell folks that we have these 20 ways to de-escalate that work. And you can get that at inclusiveschooling.com/download 65. There are 20 that we've generated when things are, what Julie said, the energy is turning up and we want to make things better. So we don't want to rush the feeling. We don't want to do, what we call go the diagonal and try to do problem solving. We don't want to tell everybody you're fine. You're fine, buck up, cupcake, right? So we're not trying to make it worse. That's why we mean these work, meaning allows for processing. It allows people to feel safe, seen, soothed, and secure. So they're still really important to a regulatory state, but they're going to help things not continue to spiral or turn up. And in your case, the dial went down. It's still an escalation of withdraw. But we have to think of those as well.
That's right. That's right. So just to be clear, the strategies we're going to talk about aren't rewards or consequences. They're connection moves, and they're simple ways to help students and ourselves get back to a regulatory state. So let's talk about a few of them, Christy. And I think I'm ready to start with the first one, if that's all right.
Yeah, you're fine, because I'm going to do number 5.
Okay. So the first one that you'll find is called lower your energy, lower the room. And when that means is when something's escalating, you lower your body, meaning you don't stand over a student. You get right next to. You lower your tone. You change your pace. And you regulate yourself.
I just breathed with you.
Yeah. Because regulation is contagious. We have mirror neurons. And if you can regulate yourself, you're going to be regulating many others by your example. And we mean this in a neurobiological way. It's not just they're watching you and, oh, I'm going to copy the teacher. No. Your body cannot help but calm when somebody else's body calms next to them. Okay, Christy, that's my favorite. Lower your energy.
Sorry, I was still taking a nice deep breath. It was so lovely.
Yeah. You can stay there if you want.
Yeah, thank you. No, because, Julie knows I don't like to be told to take a deep breath. So I think that those mirror neurons are really helpful for people like me who can get kind of resistant to de-escalating. Like, I kind of like it. I want it. Right. And so if she just does it next to me, my body can't help. It's kind of like a yawn, right? I can't help but yawn. But when she takes a deep sigh, like my body just wants to sigh too. And then even if I don't want to feel better, my body feels better.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 5th one on your list of 20, we have this phrase in neuroscience. I said we like I'm a neuroscientist.
Let's pretend we are.
I can play one on podcasts, right?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. I am a doctor, just not, like Sam said, one that helps, right?
That's right.
So number 5 is name the emotion, not the behavior. So I like this one for 2 reasons. One, from a neuroscience perspective, there's a phrase called name it to tame it. But I don't love non-reference pronouns. So I was always confused, like, what am I naming? Because it is a non-reference pronoun. Name it to tame it. Okay, I see you're kicking me. I don't feel like that tamed anything. But when we say name the emotion, not the behavior, I now know what is being tamed or co-regulated or processed. I also like it because it's focusing on the state, not the behavior, which is our other favorite thing, Julie. Like, I'm focusing on that you've turned up the heat or turned down the motivation, subconsciously, of course.
Right.
And I'm going to help you process that. So that's one of my favorites. So instead of stop swearing, try, you look really frustrated, or this seems very overwhelming to you and to me. And so it's really shifting that energy, but that name it to tame it is I'm naming the emotion. And in fact, maybe I have a third reason I like it, Julie.
Okay.
Everybody loves emotional literacy. And we're always telling people you can't teach emotional literacy in the storm. But this kind of actually does. It gives a name to the emotion that I can start to then know it's not me. I can let it go. It will fade with some recognition.
Absolutely. I love that because if you name the emotion, looks like you're frustrated and you're wrong, and someone will say, I'm not frustrated, I'm super upset, right?
Right.
What I love about that is, okay, good, we're having a dialogue about your emotions at the moment in a way that, it's going to get to a better place soon. Okay, so Christy, I'm going to just add one of my favorites, which is respond with a whisper. And instead of matching the energy of the student who's upset, you might whisper, I'm right here and you're safe. It disarms the student, it's unexpected, and it instantly shifts the energy. Where they're expecting you to come in with big behavior as an adult, like, stop that, that's enough, da 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 da. You just go back in and say, I'm right here and you're safe. Another one I love to say to teenagers is, you're not in trouble. I'm here to support you.
So I was going to pick number 12, which is totally related to yours, but then I wanted to do 13. So I'll do 12 quickly. So it said, let go of correcting in the moment. So Julie and I both have read, Mel Robbins' let them theory. I kind of like it here, and like, I'm just going to let it go for a minute, especially in the moment. And I'm going to prioritize connection over correction. There's no reasoning, judging, correcting, teaching, consequating. I'm just for that moment. It doesn't mean we can't come back to it. Doesn't mean we can't learn something down the road from it. But in this moment, it doesn't serve us. And then this, you might be surprised I picked 13, Julie, because it's almost like breathing on demand. Just put your hand on your heart to remind yourself to stay calm. What we often did is, we talk about shark music, meaning from like the Jaws movie, that as things escalate, there's that, if you play the Jaws song, I mean, some people are too young, they don't know. They can go Google it. But it's like dun 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 dun, right? Is that escalation of fear. So we would encourage co-teachers to put their hands together as if they're going to give themselves a high five. And then they would put that like at the top of their forehead or over their heart. That meant the shark fin. And so it was a signal that like, I need help. Like, this is shark music for me, or quote unquote, a trigger. I need help. So that same thing of putting your hand over your heart, taking the minute to do a deep breath. It's just like sending out a signal that you too might need help.
Well, and I think putting your hand over your heart internally reminds your body that you're safe.
Yeah.
And so it's a real self-reminder, even if it's not a signal to others. It's to say, hey, I'm safe. I'm right here for myself. And that'll, again, de-escalate you, which is going to help de-escalate students.
And you can get all 20 of these ideas that work at inclusiveschooling.com/download 65. Julie, is there one more or two more or anything else you want to say as we wrap up this episode?
Well, I just kind of want to say a few things, and it's just really to remember the goal is not perfection. You're not going to do this perfectly. Everyone's going to escalate all the time, and your job is going to be to help de-escalate, and it's not always pretty. And just to remember, it's about helping everyone feel safe again, including you. And just lastly, I want to say you are the one that can be the calm in the storm, and that calm can change everything about the weather in the room. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe and catch up on past episodes where we share valuable insights, straight talk, and practical steps to challenge outdated special education practices. You can find every episode with the show notes at inclusiveschooling.com/inclusion-podcast to build more inclusive schools together.